Good morning. Welcome to Live True with JT. I'm JT, and I am training to run the Grand Canyon, rim to rim to rim, and my goal is 16 hours. Today is Saturday, November 21st. It's a little after 7. Sun's coming up. It's another beautiful sunrise. Not to tell you, I wish I felt as good as this day looks. I do not feel that great this morning. Tired. I don't know if I just didn't get enough sleep last night or something. My stomach's been bothering me too. So, I don't know. It's kind of an off day. Happens once in a while. But it's a beautiful morning. I'm just honestly right now, as wonderful it is out here, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other, and I'm kind of wanting to be done with this. But I still have a ways to go. I was just over about 6.5 miles. I got another 4 miles to go. So just have to keep going. So I'm just trying to just keep going and not think about being tired. There'll be plenty of time for sitting on the couch later today. And you know, sometimes you just need to, when you're tired, you just need to go anyways. And that's kind of what I've done today. Is I felt a little bit off this morning. It's like, well, I just got to get myself out there on the trail. And you know, once I'm done, I'll have a little check box, check that off. Another workout in the bag, and on the books, on the video, whatever. I'll be done, and that'll be nice. Gotta do a little bit at a time. Can't expect big results right away. I'm anxious to get back into better shape, but it's coming. It's coming. Just not going like super fast, which I knew that would be the case when I decided to start training seriously again. Gotta have some patience. It is beautiful out here. You know what's funny is I'm a forest guy. I grew up in California in the Bay Area, and spent a lot of weekends up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Oh man, it's beautiful up there. Redwood trees and all kinds of other trees, different kinds of pine trees and stuff. That's beautiful. And I do prefer the forest, but I just really like being outdoors. Moved to Arizona, and when I first got here, I was comparing it to, you know, what I was used to in California, and I thought, oh, not even close. But after a while, did a lot of camping, did a lot of stuff outdoors, a little hiking, and then I realized, you know, Arizona is beautiful. It has its own beauty. The desert has its own beauty, and I see more and more of it every time I'm out here, and I just enjoy it. It's so cool. That makes up for being tired. It is amazing, you know, and I realize it's just different. There's no comparison, right? Because it's completely different. They're different things. A forest is a forest. A desert is a desert. So to compare the two and say which one's more beautiful, well, it's not really fair to one or the other. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna get back to running. It is beautiful. I'm tired today. I feel like I say that almost every week now. I have to keep an eye on that. It's like, oh, I'm tired today. I didn't want to get up today, but I decided to anyways. Or, oh, I took last week off. I wasn't feeling good, whatever. Yeah, that's not... I have to keep an eye on that, because that seems to be like it's becoming more and more common. I have to make some adjustments. Probably not getting enough rest during the week, or maybe I'm not training enough during the week. We'll figure that out. But anyways, so speaking of comparison, I was talking earlier about comparing the desert and the forest, how there's really no comparison because they're not in the same category, right? Other than they're both outdoors, right? So when we talk about comparison, just want to kind of share my 2 cents about that, where comparison can be good in some ways, but it can also be really not good in other ways. So if you're comparing yourself to others, we do this as human beings, right? We compare ourselves to others. And it can be good if you see someone's accomplishments and say, oh, that's inspiring, and I want to get like that someday. I want to be able to do that. And it's more of a motivating, uplifting thing. But if you're comparing someone to yourself to other people and saying, oh, look how great they are, I'll never be that good. Look how great they are, therefore I am not, right? They're so great, I'm so terrible because I'm not as great as they are. That's when comparison is really not beneficial to you at all. It's a negative thing. It's not helpful, and all it does is serve to increase levels of shame, and shame just brings you down. Shame is just the general feeling of not being enough, and everybody feels that at some point, in some ways, and some more than others. So comparison really can be a double-edged sword at times, and if we're comparing ourselves with others, we are always going to find someone who's better than us. We're always going to find someone who is not as good. And that's another side of comparison that can be very negative. If we're comparing ourselves to someone else who is not as good, not as skilled, doesn't have the same attributes or whatever that we consider positive, and we're using that as a way to make ourselves feel better, then that's pretty negative as well. And ultimately, it is not serving you in a positive way, because you are still relying on external things for your own real self-validation or self-worth. And ultimately that will fail you in the long run, okay? Plus it's just not cool, right? So when we think about comparison, it's best, in my opinion, it's best to only compare yourself to yourself, right? Compare yourself to how you were yesterday. Compare yourself to how you were a year ago or a few years ago. And in the terms of progress, you can look at it and say, have I made progress from yesterday to today, from last week to this week, from a month ago or a year ago, 5 years ago or whatever, and see. And hey, if you slid back a little ways, it's a good measurement and a good wake-up call to say, hey, you know what, I think it's time to decide, do I want to get better in that area or does it matter, right? So from that perspective, here's one example. Carl and I, he's not here today because he's been doing a lot of traveling and, he has been away from his family a lot. So plus he's kind of tired. So he's hanging out at home. But anyways, Carl and I would be doing a lot of this training. And in the beginning, we're hikers. We're trying to be trail runners, still trying to be trail runners, still trying to make that transformation. It's tough, man. You got to be consistent. And, we'd see someone pass us by, some skinny guy that's just making no noise, just trotting along effortlessly. We're dying and we're walking because we can't run. And Carl will say, there goes a real trail runner. You know what I mean? And we would think that way. We'd see these guys and be like we don't even have the right to be on this trail because we're so, we're just not nearly as good as some of these people that we see. You know what I mean? And that is when you're tired, when you're fatigued, when you're worn out, and you're just a little bit demoralized emotionally because of all those things. It's easy to let your mind go to that place, saying, man, I'm not that good. What am I even doing here? And that's really, it doesn't help, right? All it does is tear you down. It doesn't help you get better. So, I still do that sometimes. I still do that. It's hard not to. And if we would just look at, if we would just look at, where we have come now to where we were when we first started. Like, man, when I first started running, just recently, and I've gone back and forth again throughout my life. But, just recently, a few years ago, I started running again. I could barely manage a mile, And now, fast forward to now, here I am getting back into it, and I'm doing 10 miles today, or something like that. And I'm thinking, wow, it's not that far. You know, that's a little bit of perspective, right? So if I compare myself from today to, you know, who I am today, what I'm doing now, compared to a few years ago, wow, it's insanely different. It's a massive change, and that's pretty cool. So I just, you know, been thinking about that lately. I wanted to share some thoughts with you about comparison. If you must compare yourself to yourself, who you were in the past, right? Because that way it can be productive, it can be motivating. If you decide you're going to compare yourself to other people, do it in a positive way. Do it in a way that you're honoring what they've done and using it to motivate yourself to be better. Those two ways, that's really the only options that are positive. The only options that are going to serve you in a good way. Hope that helps. I'm going to get back to my own running, my own work here. Try not to compare myself to other people I see that are doing better than me. And I'll get back to you in a little bit. I don't know if you could see that, but some paraglider guy just flew over Gold Mine Mountain, right over the trail. It's pretty cool. It'd be fun to have been up there to get a better shot of it. But truthfully, I don't like the sound of the engine because it's ruining my peace out here. So, but that must be pretty cool to be flying up there. That would be awesome. Okay, speaking of Gold Mine Mountain, I'm heading that direction right now and towards the parking lot. That makes me happy. Still have a ways to go, but and I'm actually feeling better, so that's good. It's been a pretty good day, actually, and the J is just starting. Well, the guy circled back around. There he is over there. Yeah, again, I don't like the noise, but that would be so cool. That looks awesome. It looks like he's having a lot of fun. It's really cool. It'd be fun to fly through the Grand Canyon on one of those things. Probably crash into the side of the canyon, though, side of the wall. Okay, here we are once again at the parking lot. Let's see. Strava says 10.4 miles to about a 16-minute mile pace. And I have to tell you, I am glad that I am done. It was good, and I'm glad that I came. But man, I am glad it's over. Whew. It was hard. I was a lot more tired today than I thought I was going to be. But I got it done, and I will see you next time. So speaking of comparison, I was talking about earlier about comparing the forest and the desert. Let's compare runners and mountain bikers. Just kidding.